Okay, so I think it's finally time I talk about this anime. It came out in the spring, but I didn't end up watching it until recently. Just kind of flew under my radar. But boy, am I glad that I gave it a chance. So, obviously, I'm talking about Insomniacs After School. Now, a lot of people compare this anime to Your Lie in April, and I understand the comparisons, but I really feel like at its core, this anime is trying to do something a little bit different than Your Lie in April. And a lot of that has to do with how the story turns out. Now, I'm gonna make this video as spoiler free as possible because I want this to be something people maybe watch and hopefully it gets them to watch the anime. This anime was more than just a slice of life romance. It dealt and addressed a lot of different issues that I think people are gonna be able to relate to. And how ultimately a lot of the issues that we develop stem from things that happen in our childhood. And it's not just about learning how to deal with these troubles. It's also understanding that other people are going through the same thing as you, just maybe in a different way. I feel like this anime really makes use of its side characters, especially. They don't really take up too much space and there's not too much of a focus on them, but they complement the main character so well. So let's get into that a little bit. I am so glad that this romance anime's main characters turn out to be the way they are. These are characters with some definite personalities. They're not really tropey, and overall it just seems like they're a little bit more mature for their age. Obviously they're in high school, but at the same time, the conversations they have with each other, the conversations they have with the side characters, and pretty much just the dialogue in general in this show is just so much more realistic. It doesn't have to rely on, the gimmicks that you see in slice of life romance anime. Their realistic mannerisms, subtleties in body language mimic pretty much how conversations go in real life. So much meaning can be derived from just the facial expressions of the characters, which I think is a big factor to the enjoyment and hook of this show. And that honestly reminded me of the same type of dialogue that you see in series like Horimiya, which was a big reason why I liked that anime in the first place. Also Castlevania, I think the dialogue in that show was also amazing. Can't wait for that to come back. One thing about our main character, Nakamiganta, that I really admired was that he was suffering and he had his issues, but he wasn't the standard shut-in, no friends protagonist that eventually blooms into the social butterfly type. Now, I won't go too much deeper into that because there are some plot points related to it, but it shows that even people who are on the surface, functioning in society can have deep underlying problems that, even their friends may not be aware of. And Magari, as our female main character, is just someone that is so gentle, but at the same time has such a vibrant personality to her, you just feel safe around her. And it also felt like the relationship between our two main characters and the development of it was done in a mature way. The love story isn't overcomplicated, and it really shows you what it's like to develop feelings for someone over time, not just, love at first sight kind of thing. Now, obviously there's insomnia in the title, so I should mention that a little bit. Yes, it plays a role in a lot of the issues that our characters go through, but the angle that it takes, especially in the final episode, about how that issue is resolved or kind of dealt with is pretty unique. I won't go too much into it, but it basically surrounds the idea that sometimes you're dealt a certain set of cards and managing it often has to do with your perception of them and your reaction to them. I felt like it really stressed the importance of your connections with people on a deeper level, I guess, how that brings about you confronting your relationship with yourself. So let's talk about the bells and whistles. Now, some of these are some pretty big bells and some of these are not so much, but they're still appreciated, I think, just the same. The mid cards were pretty much different every episode. It just added a bit of flavor and just, I don't know, I feel like when anime studios go the extra mile with things like this, it just really shows you how dedicated they are to the show. The character design, I liked how the characters were a little bit more rounded. They didn't look generic at all, and honestly, at times I was like, am I watching a movie here? It really reminded me of some old school like Hayao Miyazaki or like Weathering with the Wind type movies with the art style, so that was a treat. That ending song as well, amazing. I usually skip anime endings, but I let this one run pretty much every time. So, hopefully, if you got this far, you'll want to go check out this anime maybe. Definitely one of the more cozier anime I've watched in a very long time. I'm just kind of mad I binged it pretty quickly. Probably should have made this last a little bit more. But nonetheless, really glad I was able to experience it, and hopefully you will too. But that's going to do it for this one. Let me know if you watched this anime, what you thought about it. Did you feel the same things that I kind of did? Peace.